Hello, my lovelies. Thank you so much for being here again. And today I am just going to be perfect. Of course, I'm kidding. I am never perfect, and that was never my intent. However, I know very well that perfectionism is a real struggle for many. Hence, we will just address the perfectionist trap today. And as we dive into the presentation, I would love to have a couple of agreements with you. Number one, please listen for insight and not for agreement. I don't want you to agree with everything I say. Just please, a couple of insights, couple of really aha moments that you have and implement them in your life. You don't have to worry that you have to remember everything. That's not at all the point of this presentation. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to be helpful, and we're really trying to be real today. So the first agreement, just listen for insights and not for perfection and not for agreement, I might say. Number two, write down insights as you go, because there's nothing more important than writing and sharing. The more you write and share, the more you actually are more likely to implement what you learned today. So I will ask you through the presentation, I'll ask you for insights at some points as we go along together. Just please share in the comments. Be open and vulnerable. This is going to be an excellent exercise and opportunity for you actually to practice what you learn as you go. And number three, I'm very grateful for you to take this time and to go in with me through this presentation. Please share your insights at the end of the presentation. Let me know what worked, what resonated, what not. And if you disagree, I would love to hear your opinion, because again, we are listening for insights and not for agreement. So let's dive in. The perfectionist trap and how to let go of perfectionism, take massive action, and enjoy every step of the way. Now, perfectionism is a lie. It's as simple as that. It is a lie, and we together are going to uncover how this is true. Now, what I hear from my clients, what I hear from people around me who do suffer, who do just really share and tell me, be openly and honestly, that perfectionism is something that stops them, that blocks them, that paralyzes them. What I hear is, oh, Leo, I'm a little perfectionistic. And that is usually said with a connotation of code for I actually do things very well, or I have very high standards, or I would never put out a bad product. And I totally respect that, because we live in a society that praises and tends to emphasize just how important it is to be perfect. I mean, and that has been portrayed in the media, in the entertainment industry for a really long time. So if you come from a place where you wear your perfectionism as a badge of honor, I see where you're coming from. I really do. And I have absolutely no judgment for you. I really have deep empathy, and I really understand where you're coming from, because this is the world that we live in. And what I hear also is people saying is that, oh, Leo, you really just don't understand, perfectionism really helps me be who I am and deliver the highest quality possible. I get it. I get it that you have high standards, but it does not have to be perfectionism. And the third excuse that I hear often is that, well, I'm not perfectionist, I just want to do things right. I get it. I totally get it. You have high standards, but you are very clear that at this point, perfectionism is not helping you anymore, is not something positive. It is something negative in your life. So I like to always infuse humor into my presentation. So if you're not sure if you're a perfectionist or everyone else has low standards, you need to watch this presentation. You need to take the time and join me on this journey together. So why perfectionism? Now, the way I see it, perfectionism is just a layer. So it's a blanket for so many other things. So if we were to be in class right now and just take the perfectionist frog, and if we were to dissect it together, here are a couple of layers that we would find out actually under this skin of perfectionism. So number one, it is about the others. You feel the pressure of perfectionism because of other people in your life. So number one, you don't want to let go. You don't want to let people down. You want to do things perfectly because you want to avoid shame, blame, criticism, and guilt. And you don't want to be cast away from the proverbial tribe. It is a need, it is a visceral need for us to be part of the community, to be accepted, to be in the tribe, and this visceral fear of being cast away, of being rejected, of being pushed away, of being shamed and judged. It is something that is real and is something that is very human. So perfectionism, it is about others. The perfectionism you experience at this point, it is about others. And another thing you would really discover if you are to go deeper into understanding your tendency for perfectionism is what other people say. What would other people say? You deeply care what other people say. And perfectionism is also about you. If we stripped the label of perfectionism and you choose to be really open and vulnerable right now, you might find out that you're afraid, you want to avoid pain, you want to avoid failure, and last but not least, you have a fear of really testing your limits and really showing to yourself and proving to yourself that you're good enough. Because we're so terrified of being disappointed in ourselves, in trying our absolute best and still not being good enough, that often we would choose to cover up with perfectionism and never really try. So if you struggle with either starting a project, an offer, a business, an idea, following through with your vision, or if you are afraid to put that idea, vision, product that is ready to put it out, the real things you might be suffering from is not perfectionism. It's just a blanket for something else. It's either about the others or about you. Let's keep it real. Now, what insights have you had so far? Did you have any aha moments, any soft insights? And often an insight does not sound like, wow, it's not mind-blowing. The real insights in my coaching, they sound like this. Huh? Or, really? So if you had moments like that up until now, or even if you didn't, just share with us in the comments or write for yourself what insights you had so far. Now, perfectionism is a lie. It doesn't exist. It's just a label that helps us cover up. It's a beautiful lie that has much deeper layers and completely different reasons for us not to take action, for us to be stuck and paralyzed and not really showing up the way we know we can. It just doesn't exist. And what can help us really move us and take us away from this trap, it's really conscious maturity. And maturity, as you know, has nothing to do with age, has nothing to do with adulthood. Maturity is really when we assume and take responsibility for what we feel, and we have the courage and the willingness to go there, to really go there, and not to choose to wear a badge of honor, a perfectionistic badge of honor, and really be open and vulnerable and have the courage to look at what really, really stops you. So maturity, conscious maturity, is really your ticket to success. And if we were to take a trip down your internal world, and if we were to assume that you are suffering with perfectionism right now, right in this moment, you want to be things done perfectly. You revisit things 100, 200, 500 times before putting them out, or you choose never to put things out just because they're not perfect enough. If we were to go down your internal world, down the ladder, what really might be behind perfectionism might sound like this: I am unsure. I am distracted. I don't know where to start, or I don't know where to finish. I am afraid of failing. I am afraid of judgment, or I'm afraid of disappointing people. I'm afraid of rejection. I'm scared. What if I'm not good enough? Does any of this sound familiar? So when we continue dissecting perfectionism, the truth in the matter, that's what we really find. And that's what really, really holds you back. And I want to stress again the concept that perfectionism does not exist. It's just a blanket for something else. It's a cover-up. It's a lie and a beautiful story that you're telling yourself to avoid going deeper and to avoid addressing the real issues that stop you. And if you are right here, right now, standing vulnerably in your power, and if you are to assume your conscious maturity and say, hey, whatever happens, I am willing to go there. I will no longer waste any day, any time, any hour being trapped and stuck in perfectionism. I am willing to go forward. So if you are ready to take that decision and go forward, I would like to let you know that those feelings that you just uncovered, what really stops you, they're not going to go away, at least in the beginning, just like that. Because if you want them to go away, you can wait your entire life. And if you still have doubts, I would invite you to reflect and tell me, what is the price you will pay in a year, in 5, in 10, if you choose to continue wearing your badge of honor, your badge of perfectionism? What are those things that you will not achieve? What are those brilliant ideas that will never see the daylight? What is that song within that will never get sung because it will be suffocated by fear, uncertainty, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being cast away, fear of disappointing other people and yourself? What is that you will lose who will you really let down if you are not to address this issue right here, right now, with us together? How will your life look like? And there's a couple of reasons why it's so difficult to let go of perfectionism, just because, or this idea, illusion of perfectionism, right? We, throughout the presentation from now on, will refer to it as the illusion of the perfectionist, because we're clear that it does not really exist. It's just a label, right? So there are good reasons for you to hang on to the illusion of perfectionism, because there are some good sides about perfectionism, for sure, about this illusion. Number one, you might think that perfectionism just really helps you deliver high quality and delivering at the highest standard. You might assume that if you let go of the illusion of perfectionism, this need to perform at the highest level might go away. And to that, I would say, you're right. You are 100% right, because if there is some percentage in the illusion of perfectionism that helps you achieve, that helps you and drives you forward and puts you into action, there's no reason to let go of the illusion completely. And I know I'm contradicting myself, but it's just as simple as offering you a different entry door to letting go and to unstuck yourself, a door to free yourself from the moments where you're paralyzed by the illusion of perfectionism. So if you don't want to let go of this feeling completely, that's perfectly fine. Because what you can do, just like the old-fashioned radio, you just take the knob and turn down the volume. Instead of completely letting go, what we can do together, we just can turn down the volume on what you experience in terms of perfectionism. Now, I'd like you to stop for a couple of seconds and reflect again. What are some insights that you had so far? What are those few moments, one or two, where it really resonated within? Write it down in the comments, or you can write it down on your notepad for yourself. And just let it sink in, because we're listening for insights and not for information and not for agreement. Now, if you were to decide right now that it's time to let go of the illusion of perfectionism, and if on a scale from 1 to 10, where you experience no perfectionism, you are ready to go, you're in the groove, you're in the move, and 10, where you're right now actively stuck and paralyzed, and you can't take another step because you are so afraid that you need to, you're so convinced that you need to deliver everything perfectly, where would you be? Just honestly write down your number between 1 and 10. Where are you right now? What's your number right now? And I would like you to write down, where would you like to be? What is the number that we are going to work towards together for the rest of the presentation? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? Write your numbers down. If you are ready and open and willing and still with me and wanting to let go of the illusion of perfectionism, let's go. Buckle up and let's go. So number one, watch your language. How do we let go of the illusion of perfectionism? Lose it from your language first. From this day onwards, you are never allowed to use "I am a perfectionist" ever again. It might feel like a lie. It might feel like a need of expressing this phrase, but you will have to consciously through conscious maturity. Remember, through conscious maturity, you'll have to remove this from your vocabulary forever. Forever. Number two, do not personalize it. It is not your perfectionist. It is not my perfectionist. It is a blanket. It is an illusion for something else. It is an excuse that covers up something deeper. There is no such thing as perfectionism. Lose the personalization. What you can say instead is, I have perfectionistic tendencies. If you still really need to let the world know that you have perfectionistic tendencies. And most importantly, just be honest what really stops you. Instead of going to the default, I am a perfectionist, my perfectionist, and whatnot, take just an extra 5 seconds and really check in with yourself and see what's really going on. What really is behind that perfectionism blanket. Now, Tony Robbins says that perfectionism is the lowest standard anyone can have. How is that? For contradicting the world that we live in and prizes perfectionism so high. Now, why and who? As we go on this journey of releasing the illusion of perfectionism, we need to have actionable and practical steps, because unless this is practical and actionable, the change will not happen. We all know that our habits determine our being, right? And if perfectionism is the lowest standard, that turns the world upside down. That turns the world completely upside down. We have to rethink and reframe what serves you. Now, where do we start? Number one, you will act with fear. Whatever really stops you, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of letting other people down, being scared, that will stay. We will not push it away, push it down. What we're going to do is we're going to learn how to walk with it. And if needed, those individual things need to be addressed with a coach. You need to address them with a coach in order to let go of those things for good. That's a decision that you'll have to take. Number two, to unstuck yourself from perfectionism, 80-20 rule. 20% of planning, 80% of action. The antidote for perfectionism is action. As simple as it might sound, and this is common knowledge, and I know that you know. I'm just reminding you of what really works and the steps you will take to unstuck yourself from the illusion of perfectionism. Focus on serving rather than on your own fears. And you'll hear this from every corner, from any motivational speaker out there. And you'll hear it over and over again because it's true. Anytime you feel yourself sinking into that fear, sinking into that scarcity mindset that drove you to the illusion of perfectionism in the first place, choose to switch your mindset. Flip your mindset to serving. Push yourself out of fear and into serving. And if you're serving, and if your serving why is not strong enough to pull you out of inaction, revisit your why. Your why of why you're doing what you do has to have the power of pulling rocks from under mountains, of kicking you out of the bed in the morning when you jump full of energy. Question your why, connect with your why, revisit your why. I will always be afraid, but I compromise on my why. That's your mantra. That's your mantra. accept the fact that you will be afraid of judgment or failure or whatever it is, but choose not to compromise on your why. My why is more important than my fears. Is your why more important than your fears? If that's not the case, revisit your why. Who are you depriving of serving when you are not taking action? Who can you serve and who do you need to serve, and make it as personal and as deeply connected as humanly possible? And as Brené Brown says, when perfectionism is driving, shame is always riding shotgun, which means next to you. And fear is the annoying backseat driver. And that's all true. That cannot be more true when it comes to so-called perfectionism, the illusion, the blanket, the excuse for what's really, really holding you back. Insights. What are the insights that you've had so far? What is the why that you need to reconnect with? And who is the who that you absolutely need to serve? And who is the why and the who that will be stronger than your fears? Just drop your insights either in your notebook or in the comments. And when it comes about the fears, about the others, the truth is that you can't really achieve anything great in your life when you limit yourself to what other people think. And I know that's easier said than done. But when you truly visit and connect with other great people's lives, or your mentors or people you're looking up to, they were a little crazy in their own time, in their own field, but they've achieved brilliance, despite the fact that so many of them did have the fear of being cast away and being rejected and being criticized. Release a better version of your work, take in the feedback, not the criticism, improve and release again. And again, this is nothing new that you did not hear before. It is a very practical approach towards confronting and riding with the illusion of perfectionism. Action, action, action. It will be messy. Plan for success, but expect failure. Befriend failure. Redefine what failure means to you, and choose who has the voice that you will listen to really. Who really matters? Who is the voice that will really either pull you down or lift you up? And last but not least, feel the burn of imperfection. It's a gift. It's a massive and beautiful gift. The burn of imperfection when you put out a product, a service, your business, your video, your best possible work, and it's still imperfect. Allow the gift of the burn to sink in, take the feedback in, adjust, and move forward. Because as Tony says, the pain is not meant to make us suffer. The pain is meant to move us into action. Channel your identity. And here we're taking out the big guns. Don't tie your worth around results, but tie your worth around action and amount of effort you put in. channel your identity, who you truly are. What is your worth tied up to? Is it the results? If you do that, you're in trouble, my friend. And as you figure it out, I say things as they are. If you're tying up your worth to your results, you are in deeper trouble than you think. And if that's the case, if you find out that that's where your worth lies in, reframe it, tie it to the amount of effort you put in, how much you show up, and how much action you take. Bring in the big guns. And now, if you are the kind of person that really strives and really loves perfection, and it's really hard for you to let go, because your argument would be, but Leo, I just want to make sure that I put the best thing I possibly can. If I let go of perfectionism or illusion, as you say, I will be unable to deliver my best work ever. My answer to that is BS. That's right. You will be able to deliver your best work ever when you are free from the fear, from the judgment, from the scarcity mindset that perfectionism brings along. What is, okay, imperfect slide right here. I apologize for that. What if you want to produce the best work you possibly can? That's amazing. Congratulations. You will go far. But instead of using I am a perfectionist or my perfectionism, you can use a better phrase. Instead of saying I'm a perfectionist, you can use instead I strive for excellence. You, my friend, can strive for excellence 100% of the time in everything that you do, from making your bed in the morning to brushing your teeth to selling millions in your products and showing up in your business, anything, or being in your relationship, being the best parent you can strive for excellence in everything. And you will have this face right here, that moment when the work is finished, you will have this happy face, and you won't have the terrified, scared, afraid, horrified face. How to distinguish between perfection and striving for perfection or striving for excellence? Striving for excellence sounds like this. I want to do the best possible work I can. I am so inspired. I cannot wait to get to work. I will learn every skill I need to learn. I will do everything I need to learn in order to deliver my best work ever. And striving for excellence feels good. It feels scary. It feels terrifying. Yes, but that's just a small percentage of it. Overall, it feels good. It feels motivated. You are going into action. Perfectionism sounds like this. I better do this perfect because if I don't, ... choose your poison. If I don't deliver this perfectly, people will judge me. If I don't deliver this perfectly, I'm ruined. If I don't deliver this perfectly, that's the end of the road for me. If I don't deliver this perfectly, I will never try again. So you can strive for excellence. You can do the best you can, and you can stay motivated, in action, and in momentum. Use these self-love habits to reinforce striving for excellence. Examine your habits. What is that you feel in your body when you think about completing or starting a project? What is the feeling, physical sensation in your body? address that. If it's freezing, if it's crisping, if it's shallow breathing, if it's your heart beating faster, address that. And we can separately talk about this. We can talk about how you can help your body out of this state. And by doing that, you'll help your mind out of the state of terrified, paralyzed, blocked feeling. Instill new habits that will help your body out of the freezing state and practice those habits every day. Focus on self-reflection. Every time from the tip of your tongue you want to say, I'm a perfectionist, my perfectionist, anytime this word wants to roll out of your mouth, stop. Let it serve you as a trigger. And just take a couple of seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, and reflect. Get curious about it. Ask yourself, why did I feel the need to use that word? What is really going on? Get really, really, really curious about it. Surround yourself with good people. And if you're physically right now surrounded by negative people and people that drain your energy, hop on online. Find your tribe. There's no excuse. Find your tribe and surround yourself with good people. And the last but not least, my favorite self-love habit is keep on taking risks. That's the most beautiful, magical, scary as hell place to be. Take risks. Now, what are the biggest takeaways so far? And they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be mind-blowing or wowing. They just have to be insights. Share with yourself, share with me, share with the group, leave in the comments. What was the biggest insight that you had throughout this journey together? And what are the 3 things that you will implement? Take action right now and write in the comments what will be the 3 things or 3 decisions that you can take right now to address the illusion of perfectionism. I'll give you a couple of moments here. Sometimes pausing and taking your time is the best thing you can do. And a little bit about me. My name is Leo. I'm a self-love coach, author and mentor. I'm here to serve you always and forever. And you are my who and why. And this presentation was far from perfect, as you can see. And that's my book, Delete How to Erase Your Negative Thoughts Fast. That does touch on perfectionism as well. Now, I would like to deeply thank you for your time, for your effort, for your presence, and drop me a like. Don't act like you're not impressed. I always like to bring on some humor into the presentation because it keeps us alive and it keeps us real. Because unless we're real with other people, unless we're real with ourselves, real transformation and real self-love and connection won't happen. I'm super grateful for your time, super grateful for your energy, your presence. Let me know in the comments your insights, your questions, your disagreements. Let's kick the bucket for good for perfectionism together. I love you all. Have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever you are.